Hi! Today I want to make a video response to a Vlogbrothers video posted by Hank Green last Friday. It was about how our country is addicted to outrage. This is something that I've been thinking about a lot lately too, but I want to start by disagreeing with you. I don't really think of it as an outrage addiction. Actually, I think of it as a self-righteousness addiction. These are two very different things. For me, the difference was made particularly clear watching John Green's video yesterday. What I saw in that video was what I would call outrage. He was outraged at the European treatment of Syrian refugees. You could see it in his face, you could hear it in his voice. He was clearly emotionally upset by that situation. He doesn't hate European countries or Europeans. He is merely upset about a particular thing that they are doing, and he is expressing his outrage regarding it. And the one thing you might notice about outrage, if you've ever felt it, is that sometimes it can feel actually quite paralyzing. You're outraged when you feel like there's nothing you can do. John Green can't force the Europeans to take in Syrian refugees. John Green can't end the Syrian war so that the refugees can go home. The only thing John Green can do in his 9-minute video is express his outrage and hope that somebody hears it. Self-righteousness is an entirely different animal. Self-righteousness doesn't make you feel powerless. It makes you feel superior. Self-righteousness isn't about fixing a problem or lifting people up. It's about judging people, and it's about raising yourself up. Self-righteousness isn't about teaching or reaching out to people who disagree with you, and it certainly isn't about learning. Self-righteousness is the thing that divides us. Self-righteousness is the thing that fuels hatred and judgment. Across the political and social spectrum, our movements and philosophical stances are supported and informed by self-righteousness. That we as a people are less able to talk to each other than we should be. Because when you're outraged, you can still teach, and when you're outraged, you can still learn. You just do it with passion. But when you're self-righteous, the doors are closed. You also talked about how this outrage addiction is tied in with our news. This reminds me of a speech class I took in college and something the teacher said. I wish I could remember the name of that teacher. Would it help if I said he looked kind of like Santa Claus and he was a pretty cool dude? Probably not. Basically what he said is that if you want to convince someone of something, you can't do it with reason. Convincing someone requires emotion. If you get someone into an emotional state where they're ready to listen, then reason can reinforce your point. But reason can never convince someone to hold a position that they don't already hold. And I think this has really important implications for news media. We like to hold this idea in our mind that the news is some purely rational thing, that it is an avenue of human expression that can be separated from our emotional selves. But that's not true. Nothing can be separated from our emotional selves. News always has a feeling. Now, once upon a time, news outlets were very small and very local. The emotion that news catered to was a sense of community. You would go to the news to see what's happening in the world immediately around you. As news media grew and globalization took place, that was less and less the case. News media had to appeal to something else in order to reach our emotional selves. This is one of the interesting things that fascinates me about the protests by Jon Stewart and Don Oliver, that they are not news reporters, they are comedians. Why can't you be both? I think it's a mistake to assume that news needs to be purely objective, because the fact of the matter is, it can't be. It can never be. News must always appeal to something human, or no one will consume it. Humor is a perfectly valid and wonderful emotional medium for the message of news. And the great thing about humor as a medium for the deliverance of news is that it is not divisive. Humor pulls us together. Humor makes us laugh, and laughing makes us happy. Laughing gives us a sense of community. And that is a wonderful alternative to the kinds of feelings and reactions you get from pundit-driven, opinionated, self-righteous news. But there are other perfectly valid emotional mediums for the news as well. Love, compassion, intrigue, fascination, and on and on. The important thing to understand is that if you do want to fix or improve or contribute to the state of news in the world today, you can't ignore the emotional medium of the news that you're providing. You can't pretend that it can be purely rational or purely objective. But honestly, I'm not sure why I'm bringing this up. You seem to already understand it. SciShow and Crash Course and other Vlogbrothers generated projects already include a lot of humor and interest and other positive emotional components. So I guess I'm just waxing philosophical? Anyway, thank you for watching this video response. I'll be sure to include the referenced videos in the doobly-doo. Feel free to leave lots of comments and have a wonderful day. Thanks! What do you call it? Dude, oh my god.